What's up, Tribe? Welcome back to the Positive Tribe podcast. You've got me, Dan,
and Derek.
We are going to be talking today about something a little bit more involved with like relationships, with business, with everything, really.
Every aspect.
Yes, all aspects of life. And that is your love language. And you're like, wait, how can that be tied into all these other things, not just relationships? Well, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the back story. So there was a book created by Gary Chapman. He wrote it to kind of help improve relationships and better understand people around you. So it's called An Intro to Love Languages. Because it doesn't, so love languages don't only show you how you best show and care for someone, but it also helps others understand how you, need to be interacted with and things a little bit more. But then it's also so you can understand other people.
Vice versa. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So now there's a few different variations of this particular book. There's the 5 love languages, which we're going to be talking about. There's a children's version. There's a singles edition, so all you singles out there. There's one specifically for men. There's for teenagers and for military.
That's interesting because when we were talking about this topic, that didn't even cross my mind how there's different categories for kids, for people in the workplace, and so yeah. This is interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's one thing about love languages is that it's
not just for a couple.
It's not, because even just friends.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of have you realize kind of how you guys interact, what works best.
There's definitely non-sexual love languages.
Yes,
yeah, just
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is to just take the test to see what you are. Now, there's some free tests out there. There's some paid tests out there. We're going to go ahead and just link one of the free tests.
Dan found a good, easy one.
Yeah.
I took it this morning.
And it's got like 30 questions.
Yeah.
It's really not too bad.
It takes 2 minutes.
But if you read the book, it has it in the book as well.
Yeah.
And we might even just put a link down there to that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Onto like Amazon or something. You guys can find it. And then what you do is when you get your results, you share those with, a loved one, with your other family members, with your friends, and even your workplace. Because I know some workplaces kind of like to know that information so they know how to best compliment you,
how to interact with
build you up, and things like that. Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good point. It's good to know how you are, but it's kind of, in a sense, pointless to take that test unless you share it with your loved one, your spouse, or people close to you, because if you want to improve that relationship, your partner has to know what you respond to.
Yeah.
So
well, not just that, but you don't have to have the same love language.
Exactly.
As long as you can, make sure that you touch on theirs and they can touch on yours, that's really what matters when it comes to love languages. It's not a compatibility test.
Right.
But yeah. So the different love languages, there's 5 of them. Okay. The first being physical touch. That's holding hands in public, kissing, intimacy,
hugging,
just, the act of physical touch in all aspects. Quality time. Now, I know this is one that you kind of scored a little bit higher on as well. That's like when you spend all that time with kids, with your spouse. You don't even need to be doing anything. You can be both sitting next to each other on your phones, but you're still getting that quality time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
And then you've got acts of service.
So what would this one kind of entail, do you think?
So this one is actually mine, my love language, and it's doing stuff for others and also others doing stuff for you. So let's say if I get off work, I'm super tired, and my wife's like, you know what, I'll make dinner.
Something
I'll do
simple
this.
as making the meal.
Exactly. Yeah. And even though it's like most of the time, one of us would make the meal. It just depends on who wants to cook at the time. Usually it's my wife, because she's like, I've been with the kids here. You can have the kids for a bit. I'm going to just go and I'm going to cook, and it's great. But it's just little things like that. Like, oh, hey, I noticed the trash was getting full, so I just took it out.
Yeah.
Even though that's, more my responsibility for some things, it's just those little acts of service like that.
Yeah.
And then also, your love language is usually what you like to do. So in my,
That was my
this
next
whole-
question.
This
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
podcast, I mean, it's an act of service.
Right.
And that's kind of how I'm helping portray, and it just clicks really well
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
So that was 3. Number 4. Now this is one that actually quite a few people usually have as a love language.
I think it's going to be one for my wife. She loves this
This-
one.
So well, go ahead and talk about it.
Well, yeah. So receiving gifts, and for me, my wife personally, it's something. It can be simple. Like if I am on a business trip and I stop by a little gift shop and I see something that my wife would like, I just pick it up for her. Nothing expensive, and she receives that well because for her, I put thought into picking up something simple that she would like. It could be giving her favorite gift on a holiday or her birthday, or
Even just getting flowers.
getting flowers or writing a note or something like that.
Yeah. And
So receiving gifts, yeah, that's definitely
yeah,
one.
that one's, and like I said, I see this one a little bit higher on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just because, they feel like
It's
they're
thoughtful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more of a thoughtfulness, and they feel like they're, people appreciate them. And which actually brings us to the 5th one is words of affirmation. This is, the whole, hey, you're awesome. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah, you look
just
good today.
appreciations. And it's that side of things. And that one I feel a lot of people aren't as good at.
I think that's true. I'm not. I'm that's
Yeah.
that's
And that's kind of one thing that, I've noticed, especially in the business world. It's like you've got some companies that are amazing at it, and then you've got other companies that
are crappy at it.
to say the least, yes.
Yeah.
It's like you come in, you clock in, you do your work, you leave. There's not really much like,
no
hey, you
personal-
did good on that job or on that last task, or there's but usually with those companies, it's a lot more of the, hey, you didn't do this right.
Exactly.
Less of the, hey, you did this right, even though you didn't do this right.
Right.
It's like, but yeah, words of affirmation is number 5. So physical touch, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation. Now, the question is how do we use them in different relationships? We're talking, work, family, even romantically.
Romantic, yeah.
So on this particular one, romantic. So this is couples, whether you're married, whether you're not married, whether you're just,
There's some intimacy there.
there's some intimacy.
Yeah.
So when we're just going to give just one, I guess, suggestion for each type.
Yeah.
So it's just things that you can do that are a little bit more special to show your spouse or your partner that you care about them, and then doing it in their love language, not just yours. So for physical touch, what does every woman like to do?
Cuddle.
Cuddle. She loves to be cuddled during a movie, right? Unless if it's a scary movie, then she's usually sitting on your lap all.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's physical touch. What about acts of service?
One suggestion is take over one of the chores or errands. If you can see that your spouse is overwhelmed with anything, or just he or she just needs some help with something,
Yep.
just help them out.
And then, like we mentioned earlier, for receiving gifts, just surprise them with a flower.
Yep.
Or a small gift.
Yep.
Nothing too crazy. Quality time.
Quality time. This one is one of my, the suggestion is one of the hardest things I have to, I just have a hard time with it. It's put your phone down when you're spending time with them.
Yep.
We're glued to our phones, so just try putting it down, put it away, and just spend that quality time.
Yep. And then words of affirmation. Just compliment their outfit. Congratulate them for something they achieved during the day.
Something simple.
Just something simple. It doesn't need to be crazy.
What about in the workplace?
Workplace. Okay. So for physical touch, just shake their hand. Say, hey, how are you today?
Yep.
Put your hand on their shoulder when talking. Just little things like this.
Yep.
It
Yep.
doesn't take
Goes
much.
a long way too, I think.
Yep, because it not only shows that you're giving them your full attention, but that touch also helps them.
Adds that extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Acts of service. help with a task when he or she's behind on something at the workplace. Bring them lunch, something simple like that.
Yeah, that's great. For those that love receiving gifts, you can give them an award like Employee of the Month, of the Week, like a little bonus, maybe a special lunch or breakfast or something.
Yep.
Just little things that shows the appreciation.
Quality time. This could include listening to their concerns, focus on them when they talk, meet with them occasionally. Just get that little extra time in.
Yep, and
we all know when we have those jobs, we all know how special you feel when the boss takes 5 minutes out of his time just to talk to you. I mean, that's a big deal when you're an employee of a company or something.
And when they don't talk just about business.
Exactly.
When they ask you like, oh, what did you do over the weekend?
Yeah, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
Did you go fishing? It's just that little bit of extra personal time.
Yeah.
I guess is because focusing purely on work is okay when you're at work, but it's like a little that refreshing break. Like, oh, what did you do over the weekend? Like, oh, and then you get to start talking, a little bit more about yourself and things. That kind of helps build that up.
Yeah, I think it's important.
So
it's a good one.
Last one, words of affirmation. Just a thank you for their hard work. A compliment towards things they've been doing well, and
Okay, so moving on to the next group.
Family. Now this one is actually not too far off of like the relationship.
Right.
In a sense. Because what do your kids love when you get home from work?
A hug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a physical touch thing. Giving hugs, having them sit next to you on the couch, snuggling up, pat their backs, all that is,
Yeah, that's what your kids or spouse would crave.
Exactly.
Acts of service, help with the chores, help with homework, school. Me and my wife, we homeschool, and that's one of my favorite things is to help my wife. She usually does the homeschooling, but help her with the homeschooling when I'm available too. So
yeah, exactly. And
kids enjoy it. My wife loves it. So
now my kids, well, at least my daughter, she loves receiving gifts.
Yeah.
Whether it be like a sucker, a little piece of candy, something like that.
What kid doesn't, man?
And, new outfits.
Yeah.
Even if it's not new outfits, if it's just new to them outfits.
Yeah.
Playing a new game with them, or even just any game with them, reading books, or giving them books, a new game, that sort of thing. And then, just making them their favorite meal.
Yeah. Yep. And then quality time, this kind of goes, like you said, it kind of goes back to your spouse or your partner. Put your phone down, play games with your kids, watch movies with them. Just kind of try and disconnect from your work or whatever you just came back from.
Go on an adventure.
Yeah.
That's
get outside.
a good way to disconnect from work and everything else.
Yep.
Especially if you go far enough out where you don't have reception, and then can't use your phone.
My favorite.
Exactly. And then just focus on them.
Yeah.
That's good quality
time.
Spend time. Last but not least, words of affirmation for the family. Give them compliments. That's pretty much the same with every single one of these. It's just compliment them. Tell them things that they do well. Praise that they're having good behavior, whether they're, being nice to their siblings, or just build them up.
And I like what you said, but I don't like what you said because compliments aren't, the words of affirmation part of this isn't used enough in our society, I don't think. And and we've hounded this dead dog a lot, and I think it's because of technology, our phones, we've kind of just lost that touch. So that's a good one for me to focus on, receiving and giving as words of affirmation. So.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments below. Take the test that we're going to link to, and let us know what your love language is in the
mine's pretty evenly spread out, so I was kind of surprised by that. But yeah, it's fun. It's 30 question, takes 2-3 minutes. So
not too long, and it's just really good to know.
Yep.
And like I said, we'll link to the book as well, and we hope to see you on the next.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, take it easy.